Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. Are you ready to think outside the box? Because that's where we do our thinking. That's where we stay outside the box. This is this is actually a topic I could go in for days, but we're gonna keep it kind of simple today. We're not go too hard today. We're gonna get interesting. We're gonna get very interesting. And let me tell you why we're gonna get interesting. We're gonna get interesting because and excuse me. Because it was an interesting. I had an interesting morning today. How was Amaterasu? Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone's day Saturday was good. Is going well. Was well. It's we're later in the evening, so I hoped everyone because I know we're here in New York. Weather was nice. Got to take care of. Wakani does something every day, but like I wanted to. And welcome, PJ. Welcome, Tac Lad. Uh, yeah, it was a really interesting day today. So before I get to the really interesting part, the weather here is great in New York. Got to go outside, run a couple of errands, take care of some business. Uh, so like I hope the weather was great. Where everyone else is. You got to enjoy your Saturday somewhat. But my morning was really interesting this morning because Jay, welcome to this. Man, I don't know what's wrong with my. Welcome to the stream, Jay. Jay the Informate. The I woke up this morning with the idea I was just going to get ready, get some content ready for today. I had a couple of things I was going to work on. Some stuff, some videos I already filmed. Got to get them edited. Some scripts I need to write. But first thing I do is I just do a quick check of social media, see if there's anything like big. And one of the things that I came upon when I opened up social media this morning, it was early. It was um, it's like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And what I found was Anton Daniels was live. Well, his channel was live, and he had a panel on. And as I'm looking at this, certain individual joins the panel. Yes, a certain individual. So, for those of you that were here, I believe it was Wednesday, because Wednesday night that we did the stream about Survivor, which that story still isn't over, and you've got you've got former survivors weighing in. You've got some on one side, some on the other side. Um, Officer Tatum. That would have been big, like because he's listen. Tatum's got almost 2 million subscribers now, so like for him to go on Anton Daniels' stream, like like Anton probably have to work something out with him to get that done. But so it wasn't off the Tatum because as Tatum would say, I'm popular because I'm real because I'm a real conservative. Um, you know, there's plenty of people that are popular that aren't real, but that's his excuse right now. But Wednesday night we were talking about the Survivor and everything, and some people were some names came up during the stream. One of those names is a I see Jay. Jay, you already guessed it. Oh yeah, I'll tell you my opinion on that piece of garbage in a little bit. Oh, did I let the cat out the bag? Okay, but yes, Jay, you are absolutely right. Chaotic truth, Chaotic Truth Live showed up on the stream this morning. And I says, okay, I got to get on this stream. So when he jumped on, the panel was full. I'm like, damn, I hope somebody drops off. I hope somebody drops off so I can pop in. When he drops into the panel, he drops into the panel, and everyone, when you come in, please hit the like button, please. Um, he drops into the panel, and the first thing he does is, so when Chaotic Truth, first thing he does when he drops into the panel is ask a question. And he gets on and asks everybody on the panel, says, hey, hey everyone, how you doing? Just want to ask you a question. Do y'all know who Jessica Watson is? And everyone's like, who? He says, Jessica Watson, do you know who she is? Everyone's like, no, we don't know who she is. Who's Jessica Watson? And he goes, Jessica Watson is the first black astronaut to be on the space station. And he says, and this is what's wrong with you Negroes. Now, at certain times, he used the word Negroes, and at other times he used a different word, a word I don't use. And he's like, but if it was about twerking, if it was about rapping, if it was about just whatever, then y'all would know about it. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, I gotta hurry up and I gotta get on the stream. Before I could get on the stream, if I don't know how familiar you are with Anton Daniels' channel, but OG J Speed jumps on. J Speed jumps on and just starts going in on Chaotic. As well he should. But he's just going in on Chaotic for just being just you use a scumbag, but he's just reading him the riot act. And they're going, Chaotic starts getting upset and they start going back. Somebody else drops off. And I'm like, yes. So I jump in. So right now, J Speed and OG J Speed and Chaotic are arguing. And I'm like, okay, I'm waiting to get in. Because what I didn't tell you what's happened is I didn't know who Jessica Watson is. So I said, hey, let me look up who Jessica Watson is. I look up Jessica Watson and I'm like, okay, so you know how he said that Jessica Watson is a black female astronaut who's like the first black female astronaut on the space station? That's what he said, right? So I looked up Jessica Watson and I was like, interesting. Because I found something slightly different than what he had said. So while he said Jessica Watson was so while he said Jessica Watson was a black female astronaut, I looked up Jessica Watson and this is who I came up with. She's female, doesn't look like she's black or an astronaut. So I then Google, black female astronaut, and I found out that the woman that's actually the black female astronaut is a woman by the name of Jessica Watkins. I'm like, So you may say, okay, he misspoke. Maybe let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he misspoke, right? Let's say he misspoke. Spoke. If he misspoke and said Jessica Watson instead of Jessica Watkins, then that undermines his entire point of trying to, you didn't know who she is. Because Jessica Watson is not the person he's talking about. So if he misspoke and he says, "Oh, who's Jessica Watson?" People are like, "No, we don't know who Jessica Watson is." Because Jessica Watson is not the person that he's claiming she is. So you've already disproved whatever point it is you're trying to prove. But that's not where things get interesting, because I wait for an opening between him and OG. They're arguing, and I'm like, "Hey, Chaotic, I got a question for you. I got a question for you." And finally, I'm able to get in because somebody says, "Hey, guys, calm down, calm down." I think Escaping the Echo Chamber had a question for you. So I go, "Hey, Chaotic, got a question for you. How long have you known about Jessica Watson?" And Chaotic says, "Who?" And so when he says "who," I assume he's playing. He's just, it's a joke, right? So I go, and then everybody else on the panel says, "The woman you just told us about." And he's like, and so at this point, I realize he really doesn't know what who. Like, I go, "The woman you like? Are you serious?" And then I watch it, actually type it in, and then and I tell him who Jessica Watson is. Jessica Watson is a white chick from Australia. She's a sailor. I says, Jessica Watkins is the black female astronaut that you wanted to flex on people with. Um, and so so at this point, he looks and he realizes how much of an idiot he looks like. So he gets a smirk on his face. So he's like, "So I told you I really wanted to get in with him, me versus Chaotic." And let me tell you, before I finish how everything went down, this is round one. Let me tell you why this is round one and why there needs to be a round two. Because Chaotic was absolutely unprepared for anything. Chaotic was not prepared for anything. And when I say, and I'm not, that's just not my perspective. That's an actual objective fact. Because for the next half an hour, 45 minutes, Chaotic did not say anything resembling any kind of point, any type of logical argument, any kind of rationale. He had nothing to offer except insults. So for the rest of the half hour that me and him are interacting, he's calling me ugly. Uh, he's saying I look like an alien. He's saying I have no eyebrows. And I'm saying, guess what? I can be all that. I'm smarter than you. I know more than you. You know nothing about politics. You know nothing about you know nothing. I'm smarter than the people that you idolize. Your Candace Owens, your Jesse Lee Peterson. I dismantle their talking points every day. And Chaotic is, but he continues to just insult me. I said, so keep on. Like I'm laughing because I'm like, listen, you can call me ugly all you want to. I don't care. I'm still smarter than you. I still know more than you. You still have not made any arguments, and you have no arguments to present. So, like I said, that's how it went. And in fact, so he was alternating between insulting me, insulting OGJ Speed. They ultimately dropped off of the panel to have a phone call with each other. Uh, then he came back and he apologized. I'm like, listen, I'm not pressed about you. Listen, I'm not, I'm not 10 years old. So like calling me ugly isn't gonna phase me. Especially like your dude. I don't care. So I am looking forward to actually getting an opportunity to give him a chance to actually attempt to present some points. Because this time he realized he was just horribly outmatched, and things went south. Like as soon as he, as soon as his whole original flex point of Jessica Watson got disproven and got exposed that he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put the link to the debate. In fact, I'm a because they have the clip thing, so I'm gonna use the clip function to send y'all. I'll put it on the community tab. Um, but I had so much fun. It was fun. It was so much fun. But it was like the crazy part was that like it you've got to see the moment when he realizes that like when he because when I say who's Jessica Watson and he's like who and I'm like oh you're serious. It's just like but I told him like listen dude I said it's clear that you're performing, you're auditioning, you're trying to get a spot on the Blaze. I said listen do you want me to get you on Fox News? Do you listen do you want that? I said let me know I could get you on Fox. Let me know. I'll reach out to some people. I'll get you on Fox News. Just let me know if that's what you want, because it's clear that you're auditioning. Oh, it was so much fun, so much fun. Let me take a look at these comments, everyone. Um, okay, so PJ, um, black folks. I saw that. That title confused me. That title confused me. I'm like, what? And Jay, yes, I saw he's doing a video on Candace. Yeah, like I tell you, he is literally auditioning. He is auditioning. He's trying to get, and he's trying to join Conservative Inc. That's his objective. Uh, like he needs some work to do, and he's gonna have to clean it up some because some of the stuff he's saying he can't go mainstream Conservative Inc. Like he might be able to be on the Jesse Lee Peterson show or whatever, but he can't like they're not gonna be able to have him on Fox News talking the way he's talking right now. So, but he's clearly auditioning for Conservative Inc. And yeah, I'm gonna be getting into that at some point. Yeah. Why does so here's Basef, by the way, welcome to the stream and everyone. Feel free to come inside and hit the like button. Hit the like button. So here's the thing. Um, let me tell you why Brandon Tatum does the Christian conservative stuff because it's easier than policy. Because if he just has to say, oh, praise God, hey, my Christian brothers and sisters, that's easier than him actually having to do research and actually look into policy and actually advocate for policy and actually understand policy. For case in point, when he went on Richie's show from TYT, Rashad Richie, Dr. Rashad Richie, they were talking about the George Floyd crime. I forgot what it's called, but there was a bill, criminal justice reform bill, that they were supposed to be discussing. He had sent him because like when you go on these shows, they're not going to bring you on the show and just this is what we're not going to tell you what we're talking about until you get there and surprise you, because that would make for a horrible segment. So beforehand, they say, hey, this is what we're talking about. Do you have a couple of thoughts? And boom, and to make sure that you know what the topic is going to be and you can offer some insight onto that topic. So knowing he's going on to Dr. Rashad Richie's show to talk about this George Floyd bill, and Rashad Richie, the first question he asked him is, so do you think this is a bill that conservatives should support? He says, oh, I haven't read it. Like, why you're here, right? Like, this is why I brought you on the show to talk about this topic, and you didn't read it. But that's the level of That's what Conservative Inc. does. They don't have policy. They have no substance. They just they just spout talking points. And when it comes to Christianity, you can just you know say a couple of scriptures, well-known scriptures, and then just make up everything else as you go along. And because religion, people tend not to question as critically as if you're talking about policy, because it's a sacred topic. So if I'm claiming to be talking about God and representing God, and your brother in Christ, then you're going to be less skeptical and less critical, less you're going to put less scrutiny on me than if I'm talking about policy, and you can actually say, wait, do we actually know what you're talking about? Because you'll find out that no, he does not know what he's talking about. He calls his own people, yes. And several times he was using the hard R. And then people finally picked up on it. And I'm like, I said, yes, he's been using the hard R. He's been using the hard R. Political journalism. This was Tatum. We are the Negroes, yet he confused the listen, because he so here's my guess. I was trying to figure out how did this happen. I'm guessing he had the like he saw something on the news maybe a couple of weeks ago or a week ago or something like that, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna okay, in fact, okay, here's what happens, because I'm looking at the thing now. So it's a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago is when it happened. Jessica Watkins becomes the first Black woman to become 3 days ago. So 3 days ago, he saw it on the news, didn't even remember her name. He just like Jessica Watkins. Okay, he saw the news 3 days ago, and then decided to try to flex on people with something he saw on the news 3 days ago. He knows nothing about this woman. Nothing. He saw it on the news for 20 seconds and says, I'm gonna show people I'm gonna expose them as being ignorant. And he only exposed himself as being ignorant. uh yeah, like I said, I'm gonna put it in the on the community tab. I'm gonna clip that and put it on the community tab. Demolition Man, what up? Welcome to the stream. And NG Tao, welcome to the stream as well. It's just Kenny, welcome. He has no right. Listen, I know that, but I'm like, listen, feel free to call me ugly. Cause like I'm gonna continue roasting you and letting you know just how unintelligent you are. And like it was just so fun. It was so much fun. At Hobbins, yeah, no substance whatsoever. And I let him know that. I said, yes, I know why you're calling me ugly. I know why you're calling me an alien. Because you have no substance. You have no facts. Nothing to support what you're saying. Nothing to back it up. You have nothing. You know nothing. He makes Shaba look like Prince Charlie. Shaba! Oh, man. Candace also had the video. Okay, yeah, I think that's the video he's doing. I think he's doing a response to that video today. Candace also has the video titled "Black America Owes Me Apology." First of all, what is Black America? Second of all, no Black people. No, yeah, she's ridiculous. But here's what she's doing. She's talking about Black Lives Matter. And because this just shows how out of touch with Black America she is. Because Black America was critical of the national Black Lives Matter organization. Plenty of Black people was like, what the hell? Like plenty of Black people looked at the mission statement and says, this ain't even about like you're using the title Black, but you've got a whole different agenda, an LGBTQ agenda that you're pushing, and you're trying to use Black Lives Matter as the umbrella to push a separate agenda. So a bunch of black people realized that. Black people, a bunch of black people like, no, this isn't like you're trying to do a bait and switch here. Then, not to mention the black people in Ferguson who knew they were just absolute frauds and says, listen, we're actually on the ground doing the work. Who are you? Like, who you? Like, you don't even like. We don't know you. You're the people that bigged up BLM, that global network foundation, were white people. Those were the ones that were bigging it up and propping it up. Meanwhile, you did have separate chapters, like you had Black Lives Matter in New York, Greater New York, which is completely separate, ran by Hawk Newsom. And the funny, Candace knows Hawk Newsom because he's been on her old show. He's been on her new show. She knows, but she likes to. But I mean, she's a liar. That's what she does. She lies. So she knows that there, because like he has no problem not pulling any punches against the Patrice Colors and her shenanigans. But she wants to present an image and like basically like it's all for her white conservative base to tell them, see, I should be like, this is why you should trust me as the black whisperer, because like you need me to talk to them so that you don't have to. Demolition Man, what a crazy world we live in. A man calling it, yeah, yeah. Listen, that's what I'm not pressed. I'm like, dude, I don't want you to find me. Like, listen, if you think I'm ugly, cool. That I have no problem with that whatsoever, dude. Because I don't care. I don't care if dudes think I'm ugly. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna put that link in. It was on the Anton Daniels channel. Um, it was a long stream. It was like almost a 12-hour stream, but so I'll clip the exact portion so y'all can actually go and see that portion of the stream. Um, that's her go-to on anything. Yes, it is. That it definitely is. um, you saw him have nightmares now. Echo, that's not going to happen. He's going to avoid you at all costs. Listen, I'm going to be laying in the cut. Like, if I have to like change my avatar and my name so that like and be with just have the just be with the audio until he pops up and then come up like, ha, I got you. If I gotta wait for him, I'm gonna catch him. I'm gonna catch him on these YouTube streets. I listen because he's auditioning, so he has to keep on going on these panels so he can be performative. And that's what I know he needs to do it because that's his whole shtick. His whole shtick is engaging in this performative nonsense to trying to get the attention of your Candace Owens, your Brandon Tatum's, your conservative ink, so that he can get a spot. He's trying to get a spot in their lane. Thank you, absolutely, thank you, everyone. Please hit the like button. Yeah, yeah. Come on, guys. Only 8 likes. I think I'm smart too, but I checked my red, back, and green. Welcome to the channel. Welcome. Any black person that bashes black people can get a yeah. Like, listen, that really is his best shot. Like his best shot is JLP will have him on. Like, listen, there's plenty of people I could connect him with, and I'm like, listen, dude, do you want me to connect? Like, do you want? I can send you there because like I know plenty of people that will love your style of the garbage you push. 14 watches should be at least 13 likes. Tatum takes that angle because he's legit just dumb. Every debate he shows up with nothing, no numbers, no stats, just yeah. But that's really the core of conservative ink. And so, like right now, when I titled this, I said I'm going to actually talk about conservative ink, not just black conservative ink, because there's something that somebody else in conservative ink, well, a bunch of things. Conservative Inc. is always doing something. So like Charlie Kirk, Conservative Inc., of course, as you know, and he's on some foolishness as well. But we'll get to that in a moment. Tatum, like Walker, can just mention faith and they'll get approval from those on the right. Yes, it's just something. It's a tool. It's a useful tool, and a lot of people don't even pay attention to actually consider. Wait a minute, is this person? And case in point. Case in point. Do you all remember? Have you ever read? I can't remember the exact verse and chapter, but it's in 2 Corinthians. Um, okay, okay. Do y'all remember that when Trump is giving the speech talking about 2 Corinthians? The second Trump says, and just like 2 Corinthians says, that's the moment that everybody that's actually a Christian should be like, okay, this dude's a fake, this dude's a fraud. The gig is up. It's over. That should have been the time. That should have been the time. But yet a bunch of people wanted to act like they, oh no, he just missed. No, there's no miss. 2 Corinthians. That means that Donald Trump never touched the Bible until until they were swearing him in for the presidency. That was the first time he touched the Bible. But these conservative, these Christian conservatives, so-called Christian conservatives, were just, all in support of him, despite the fact that clearly, not a thing about him was Christian, not a thing. Um, and the funny part is, like, there's, it's not like he wasn't going to church before. He literally just started doing that, embracing that so-called Christian conservatism just to get into office, and all these, and just to conservative think just went right along with it. Tatum's white wife tells him he's smart and strong, and he believes her. She says, "Don't worry, like don't worry don't don't worry what all the experts tell you about your learning disability. You're smart. You're special to me." Oh, Tatum is so pro police that even to the slightest hint of wrongdoing, Tatum is like, MSM would use the past of the victim to blame him for everything the police did, right or wrong. Listen, Tatum is an absolute, like, it's not it. He will argue the opposite sides of, like, you can have the exact, like, he'll argue the opposite sides if in one case it's a police doing something and in the next case it's a citizen doing something. He'll argue the complete opposite, despite the fact that, like, listen, these are the exact same situations, but just with the roles reversed, and you will argue whichever side supports the police each time. Like, there's no objectivity, there's no consistency, like, not even a semblance, not even a little bit of consistency on his part. Uh, I bet everybody in this room, the only reason Chaotic does is the revenue that Candace Owens brings. Oh yeah, he's listen. They make a lot of money. There's no doubt. Like, listen, these white conservatives enjoy having their ears tickled. They enjoy having black people tell them they're great, black people are bad. They're smart, black people are dumb. Uh, like they love that. They love that. It's just like, oh, it makes them feel so good, and they will pay to hear those messages. So Chaotic is trying to get in on a grift. Tatum always bashes black women and puts white women on a pedestal. Says black women don't have fathers, yet this dude has a baby. Like, wow, that's a really good point. Like, he's part of the problem. Like, and he really is a part of the problem. Like, if you remember that him and him going after Hotep Jesus. His wife probably wears the pants in a relationship. Oh, Dave Rubin put up an interview with Candace on why black people are brainwashed to vote Dem. First thing she says, go back to, wow. Like, you really can't make it up. You can't make this garbage up. But it's that's why. But so here's the thing and it's something I noticed. I just thought about it the other day because I was thinking about ALC, and I was thinking about how ALC is very strategic in who she interviews with. AOC only interviews with friendly venues, friendly outlets, and not just Democrat, but friendly Democrats. So like she'll make sure that everything is going to be smooth and everything. The like she'll have her handlers go out in advance to make sure. Okay, this is going to be if you want to have any future interviews with the congresswoman, you're gonna have to we're gonna have to set some ground rules. The one time I saw her on Fox News, it was with Brett Baer, and once again, she put those ground rules. Candace Owens only interviews with friendly outlets. She only goes on friendly media. She only preaches to the choir. She tried doing it the other way, and she stopped doing it. She went on like when she went on MSNBC, and Michael Eric Dyson handed her spine, ripped her spine out, and handed it to her. Like she's like, okay, I don't want to do that no more. And it's funny because even before that happens, so here's a when they call you to do a panel on these news shows, you generally don't know who else is going to be on the panel. They just say, yeah, like we want a conservative perspective, libertarian perspective, an independent perspective. This is what the perspective we want. And so we're going to have several other perspectives on the panel, but you don't know who is going to be representing those perspectives. So you get to either like if you get into the studio and you see everybody in makeup, then you might know. But I think in that case, if I remember correctly, one of them was on remote, if I remember correctly, or at least they weren't in the same room. So when she sees Michael Eric Dyson, her face drops because Michael Eric Dyson, whether you agree with him or not, the dude has a mouthpiece. Like the dude is like he, and I say lyrical. He's because it's like he brings a poetic prose to his everyday speech, and it's like he will he will demolish somebody while basically rapping. And so like she saw him and she was shook. She was so shook that she actually says she, she actually basically accused MSNBC of promoting black on black crime. Like, why should I have to be here debating with another with a black liberal? Like she was shook to death, and like that's when she realized, you know what? I'm just gonna preach to the choir. I'm just gonna stay inside the echo chamber so that I never have to worry about looking stupid again. Because even when she went on Rogan, Rogan isn't trying to embarrass you, and that's the one thing about Rogan. Rogan will bring people on. He'll be so friendly, so amicable. But if he thinks something doesn't make sense, he will push back. His objective isn't to embarrass you, but his objective is to have a good conversation and a deep conversation. So when she just starts making stuff up, and then he starts pushing, and she just starts falling apart. The slightest bit of pressure applied, and she just fell apart. The slightest bit of pressure fell apart. Nothing, no substance, nothing to back her up. Just talking points that weren't even logically sound. But that's what she does. So that's why, like the and you see it, like that's what Ruben does. Ruben doesn't like to go on non-friendly. Like no, Ruben damn sure doesn't do that. Low key, Roland Martin sells himself as a black whisperer. He definitely does. Not even low key. He he publicly is like, listen, You want me like I'll bring the blacks to you. Listen, pay me, pay me. I'll bring the blacks to you. He's very vocal about letting of trying to convince the Democratic establishment that that is his value to them. Candace Owens, don't trust this new N words over there. You are more true black conservative for real than Tatum. Thank you, red, black, and green. Because in fact, okay, so during the panel, Angry Man was actually on the panel from the Manosphere, and I'm guessing he identifies as conservative because he asked me, "Wait, so you have a problem with you don't like him just because he's conservative?" I said, "No, he's not conservative. Just like Candace Owens isn't conservative." I said, "Candace Owens isn't conservative. She's an actress." I said, "Jesse Lee Peterson isn't conservative. He's a clown." I said, "There are real conservatives that I like." Those like these three that I just like Candace Peterson and this dude, they're not real conservatives. They're performers. Welcome, Rocket Man, Rocky Matrix. Welcome. Absolutely. Like, listen, Charlie Kirk will occasionally say he's libertarian, right? And then he will immediately start espousing views that are just completely antithetical to libertarianism. And so, but let me tell you something about Charlie Kirk. As much as he is on the conservative Inc., he is more willing and he has demonstrated himself to be more capable of going into hostile territory and handling it. Him and Kyle Kalinske had a debate at Politicon. I thought he was going to get demolished. He did like actually I really think he kind of edged. He kind of it was a narrow victory, but I think he kind of beat Kyle Kalinske. Let me tell you why I think he beat Kyle Kalinske. Because here's what he did. He tied Kyle Kalinske to Bernie Sanders. He instead of tying him to Trump, what Kyle Kalinske allowed him to do was to shift every time. So every time Kyle Kalinske was able to prove something wrong with a Trump policy, a Trump position, he would then slither away and into, oh, well, I'm more libertarian on this issue. And I'm like, wait a minute. But his boy, you're letting him wiggle out like that instead of pinning him down. Like, wait a minute. Then how are you supporting this guy? Because there's wasn't a damn thing, not a damn thing was libertarian about Trump. And there's libertarians that will try to pretend like, no, stop it. Not a damn thing was libertarian about Trump. Trump's not even conservative, not socially conservative, not fiscally conservative. You can't say he's a constitutional conservative because he doesn't know what the fuck the Constitution says. He knows nothing about the Constitution. So you can't there's no way, shape, or form that Trump is a conservative because he's not socially conservative, wasn't fiscally conservative. He was spending money like it was somebody else's money because it was that he loved nothing more that Donald Trump likes than spending other people's money. And then you want to say he's constitutionally conservative, and the dude doesn't even know what the Constitution. He doesn't even he had to learn about what they actually had to teach him about the different articles while he was in office. Like the dude has no constitutional knowledge, no constitutional fidelity. So there's no way, shape, or form that Trump is even a conservative. Definitely not a libertarian. Not even a conservative. All he is. But the Conservative Inc., and you'll find about Conservative Inc. is they don't actually stand on principles. So if you say the Conservative Inc., what do y'all stand for? Are you about social conservatism? Take a look at who they got. Like Charlie Kirk had Rob Smith, who's a gay, the black gay Republican conservative, and it's like, okay, so social conservative isn't what you're representing. Cool. Is it fiscal conservatism? You're waving the pop bombs for Trump. The deficit, did it double under just astronomical spending under Trump? So okay, you're not social conservative, then constitutional conservative, and there's no fidelity to the Constitution, especially if you're bigging up Trump. But even if you look at people like your Tom Cottons and your Josh Hawleys, Josh Hawley and Tom Cottons hate they pretend to like the Constitution, but then they keep advocating for stuff like Title 18. Title 18 is completely unconstitutional. Why? Because the federal government doesn't have police powers. But you would have to know the Constitution to know that. And I think they may know that, but they just don't care because there are people like your Madison Cawthorns, your Lauren Boeberts, and Marjorie Taylor Greens. I know they have no idea that the federal government doesn't have police power. Like if you tell them that, they'll be like, they will have no clue. I know that for those they have no clue. Cotton and Hawley, I think they know. I think they're aware of that. They just don't care. They just don't care about fidelity to the Constitution. Um, do you have any thoughts on the beef between Tatum and the Amazing Lucas? Yeah, so I actually did I did several videos on that. Like I did a video on why people don't like Tatum. I did a video on um like some of the disagreement between them, and then I did a video, and then like that. So I got a bunch of subscribers because Lucas actually saw the video, and I had no idea when I did the video. Because when Lucas started losing subscribers, which once again tells you just where Conservative Inc. stands, because it's not policy. Because like you could talk about you want small government, and then when people start criticizing the excessive police using excessive force and police brutality, suddenly it's back to blue. Like, wait a minute, what happened to small government? You know, police are government, right? Like, suddenly it's back to blue. Don't the if think about it. If you want a small government, then defund the police is a slogan that fits in with small government. Defund the police is part of a small government. It just is. Less money to the police is part of small government. You also want less money to the Department of Education, less money to uh, entitlements. You want less. If that's if you actually believe in small government. So then, how? Tell me this: how people that claim to believe in small government could be opposed to defund the police because they don't actually believe in small government. Conservative Inc. doesn't actually stand on conservative principles. Um, and yeah, so yeah, actually got set. So yeah, so Lucas actually saw the video I did talking about why he was actually losing subscribers, not because of anything he did, but because the a bunch of this white conservative base don't actually care about the issues. They want somebody to just lie to them. They want people to just say black man bad, you're great, you're awesome. You know, the blacks are their problem. Not only are the blacks their own problem, the blacks are your problem. The immigrants are your problem. Everybody like so it's this victimhood that Conservative Inc. Is and these white conservatives are immersing themselves in that uh, Lucas wasn't playing along with, and so they were mad and upset and like, "Oh, you've changed," you know. So once he started calling them out, they got salty and started unsubscribing. But he actually saw the video and then posted it and he did a reaction to it. Um, Second Lord, I'm atheist, and I knew that. Yes, yes. Like the second he says 2 Corinthians, everybody should have just okay. That's it. You're done. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. Stop. Like it was obvious there. Blasphemy works on the uneducated. Most of these Christians haven't been to church in years. Yeah, yeah. Bay Seth, is Nick Fuentes bad? He's garbage. He's absolute garbage. Like just absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. He has a number of videos discussing. Okay. Cool. Rocket Man is paid by Dennis Prager. So yeah, because I saw him like yeah he's been hanging out with Amala. By the way, what's his name? Um, Amala. Okay. I remember it. I'll put it. So yeah, like he was doing some stuff with her. Okay, I'll remember it later at some point in the future. Hotep Jesus gets on my nerves. Not gonna lie. Listen, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like there are a lot of black conservatives that I can agree with up until they say and do some real suspect stuff. Yeah, like listen, I won't agree with every conservative. For instance, so like Felicia Killings is putting in work, but I disagree with. So she's what she's advocating for is a Trump Tim Scott chick ticket. Now I know that ticket has the especially listen. I know Trump has the ability to win. I don't think he's a good leader. Because he's a horrible leader. I know he's a horrible leader. Like that nonsense he did on the 7th was unconscionable. You gassed up your people, you got a woman murdered, and then you go and then you get up and say, "Why did y'all do this?" And I'm like, "You sent them, you stupid, you piece of garbage. Like you didn't even have the courage to stand up for your. You sent your people on a suicide mission, and then threw them under the bus immediately after." Um, I think the trend now in the black community, there's a black guy on YouTube that married to the Philippine woman and he makes videos bashing black women for being less traditional. Yeah, it's like the easy go. It's the go-to grift right now. Bashing black is the go-to grift right now. It really is getting its things just got out of hand. Yeah, yeah, things are really getting out of hand. If you had to choose between candidates, listen, I didn't like Kim. So I'm going to get into more of this because I'm going to talk about like the Black conservative civil war. Um, it's too long for me to go into now, but the Kim Klacik, I had a different opinion of her before. So when she stood up to Candace Owens, Juneteenth last year, and she called Candace Owens out for bashing black people. She said, "Can't like why do you keep disrespecting black people? Like that's why do you keep doing this?" And then Candace went off on her. Candace just started going in, and at that moment, I said, "Okay." I realized that even though I disagree with a lot of what she had said prior to, and I may still disagree with some things now, it led because I there was a point in time when I was just much more rigid in either with us or against us, that kind of mentality. Where now I realize that there's still going to be that there can be we can work together with one another towards common aims and still have some amount of disagreement. Like we don't have to be in lockstep with one another. And so I believe she has enough concern and respect for the black community that she's someone that she may go back to talking points at some point. She may, but she will come back and like there's a limit. She will be able to say, wait, no, that's wrong. That's too far. You're being disrespectful. You're being dismissive of black people. And and I don't know if you saw I did an interview with Larry Sharp and he talked about the contrast between them two, and he's like, yeah, well, Kim Klacik is somebody who actually would likes to be around black people. He's like, it's obvious Candace doesn't. And it's like, yeah, like Candace does not want to be around black people. Candace is not around black people, but Kim Klacik actually, yeah, like does. So yeah, Kim Klacik, um, light years ahead of And I hope she wins the lawsuit. I hope she absolutely destroys Candace in the lawsuit. I've been seeing that with a lot of folk in the black red pill space. Right. Javier. Don't forget Candace Owens is married to a rich white guy. Yes. My favorite black conservative of all times is the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. People don't realize how influential he was to everything. Like Malcolm, like without Garvey, there's no Malcolm. Without Garvey, and like Nkrumah was like, there's so many people that were influenced and inspired by Marcus Garvey, and it's like when you start to see this, it's like you see of the importance of having these voices out there, because even if that person isn't the one, that person can spark the mind of the one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Marcus Garvey, absolutely. Rogan dismantled. Yes, it was so. Oh, it was so. I thought it was kind of. It was so touching. It was so touching to see. It was a beautiful. It was a work of art. Yeah, I was watching Jimmy Dore yesterday, and it was the video that he did, I believe, 6 months ago, talking about TYT receiving corporate contact tracks. Yeah, so TYT. I mean, yeah. So here's the thing about the conservative ink, and you've got liberal ink as well. But what it is, it's there's a huge grift, because these by having these nonprofits, the money is being brought to these nonprofits, right? And so now these nonprofits, as a nonprofit, the only thing a nonprofit means is you can't directly take money out and put it into your pockets, but you can spend it. You can spend all of the money you get. So if a nonprofit gets $5 billion, it doesn't mean that the person who runs the nonprofit gets to put the $5 billion in their pocket, but that person that runs the nonprofit can spend those $5 billion, and they will. So what they do is they start spending it with companies that are run by their friends. So if I'm getting donations, I can now hire my friend who just who last week started a consulting company, and they don't know jack about consulting, but it doesn't matter because we've got a gravy train to run. And so we're taking these donation money, and I'm just paying it to you. And like, yeah, it's a huge grift. So like the whole political, like that side of the political sphere is a grift. There's another side of the political sphere, which is the power. And so there's two different sides. There's the side that's the power, and they're actually getting stuff done, which is the stuff that we're not being told is being done, and they have their own agendas and aims. And then you've got the side that we see, and that's the side that's just basically a money funneling operation, where they're just funneling money from donors to their friends and special interests, like the mask Bowling Green. I wouldn't be surprised if TYC was receiving contracts because Roland Martin admitted that he received. Yeah, yeah. Angry Man. You mean Angry Bird spreading gossip? Yeah. So like I've seen, like I've never actually seen like an entire, like I've seen him live and then just stopped in for about 5 minutes, um, and hear him talking about Manosphere beef. But yeah, I'm not that familiar with him. Um, remember when Candace doxed the police officer? Right, sure as hell doesn't. Yeah, well, like, and so yeah, had he asked me any more, I would have went deeper on her. I've been like, yeah, like she's a liberal, right? She was running a liberal magazine. She vote like didn't she? She either voted for or campaigned for Faber, something like that. Um, and then she created a doxing website. Trump is a liberal. Yeah, he's been a liberal. Like you just take a look at the fact that he donated how much money he donated to Hillary Clinton, and so like that was one of the things I would hit people with, like you know how much money he donated to Hillary Clinton, but you're gonna sit here and claim that, like, so when he's bad mouthing Hillary, like she's been a piece of garbage all of this time, and he was cool with her until they both wanted the same thing. They both wanted the White House. Then all of a sudden, each they pointed fingers that the other was evil. You got pictures of them at his wedding together. Her, him, Melania, her, and Bill at his wedding. Who are some of the black conservatives and or liberals that you can rock with? Sonny Johnson is amazing. Sonny Johnson is the reason why I have SiriusXM. I there's nothing else I listen to on SiriusXM except Sonny Johnson. Who? Okay, by the way, so great news. Sonny Johnson. In fact, I'm gonna put a clip in my from one of her uh, from one of her videos, because she's actually on she actually started posting content on YouTube. So she's been posting excerpts from her SiriusXM show on YouTube. So listen, y'all can go check it out. The woman is amazing. Seriously, she is amazing. I like Jeff Charles, and he also has a YouTube channel. So in fact, yeah, I'm gonna drop some links so y'all can see who some of these are. Of course, I like Lucas. Um, I like Felicia Killings. King Randall. King Randall is King Randall is an like, seriously, that young man is like, there's not a this like I'm having trouble finding the words because of how special he is. Like, seriously, and not it's not about ragging on Umar, but it's just, it's like, just show the contrast of how much money Umar's been raising for however long, and he still doesn't have his school ready. Meanwhile, King Randall actually just started doing the work. He just said, "Okay, I have a house. Here's these kids. The kids are here. I have a house. Let me start teaching them in my house. Now let me start asking for donations." So he started asking for donations. Boom. And guess what? Here's how he was able to get so much more donations, because he already started doing the work. He already started doing the work. So people were like, yes, we have no problem giving you money because we see you doing the work. We know you're putting in the work. We know you're providing value. You're changing people's lives. We know what you're doing. And they were like just happy to give him money. So his school is supposed to be open in September. Meanwhile, and I'm going to do a little bit more research on this. Last I heard, Umar was hit with a cease and desist to stop raising funds. Umar's heart, maybe. I don't know I don't know him as a person. But there's things to be mindful of when we're talking about black leaders. It's not enough to have a good heart. You also have to be competent. You also have to have good strategy. So, Umar, let's assume Umar, his heart is in the right place. He really wants to help black people. He really wants to educate black youth. He really wants to get black youth out from under this system. Is he competent? As an educator? Perhaps. As a understanding, child psychology? Perhaps. Is he competent at running a nonprofit? Not looking like it. Is he competent at building a school? Not looking like it. See, he should have enough wisdom and his ego, and enough wisdom to put his ego aside and say, listen, if I know this, I need to find somebody else who knows this so that we can get this stuff off the ground. Like if I don't know how to build the school, let me bring on somebody who does. Let me find somebody that I can trust that that knows what they're doing, and now we can work together to make this in bring this to fruition. And then strategy. And the strategy part is this: you want to help black kids all over the U.S., right? How is building one school in, I don't even know where he's supposed to be building it. How's building one school going to help kids all over the country? One physical location going to help. So it's not a great strategy. Meanwhile, there's something called the internet. There's something called YouTube, which all of us have. So if you wanted to teach black kids, guess what you could do? You could start putting together the curriculum and putting it out on YouTube. Boom. This is stuff we can teach black kids. Boom, for free. They don't need to pay anything. They just need even if they don't have broadband, okay, get to a library, boom, it's on YouTube. Make sure we spread the word that they know that it's there, and they can go and start learning the stuff that is there. And then even if it comes to a point where okay, maybe we got to do something to help them get access to the poor kids that don't have access to the to internet. What can we do to get them access? Can we start putting up centers where they can go and learn? Then we can start putting stuff up like Wi-Fi centers and stuff like that. But yeah, so the strategy, the competency, like the contrast is so glaring. Umar and King Randall. King Randall just went out and did the work. Was he like 22 years old now? That's really impressive. Trump was anti First Amendment, Second Amendment, and Fourth Amendment. Yes. Trump was anti constitutional. He really was. Trump was and is an American populist. Yep. In context of early 21st century, I'm a Trump supporter, by the way. Right. Yeah, he's a populist. So like he tells people what they want to hear. Ron Paul was actually the person that I saw that I was like, that's the guy. I like that guy. I like that guy. Because he was calling it out on both sides. The stuff he was saying was ideologically consistent, like with the Constitution, with small government. Rand Paul plays footsies with authoritarians too much. That's what yeah. Rand Paul is too willing to play footsies with the authoritarians. I like Thomas Sowell, but he is an economist. Tatum's arguments against Lucas were literally my channel's bigger. And yes. And so that's why when James says stupid stuff like that, I says, okay, well, Cardi B is bigger than you and Candace. That means she's right. That's what it means. If my channel is bigger, it means I'm right. Okay, Cardi B is bigger than Candace Owens and Tatum. Cardi's right. Joe, welcome to the stream. Yes, definitely. MT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert, and the wheelchair guy, just examples of this era's Tea Party. Whoever, yeah, they don't know anything about government, and that's just another symptom of this conservative ink. Like they don't like knowledge is not a prerequisite. Competency is not a prerequisite. Just say the talking points. Just give and I'm gonna borrow a phrase from Sonny Johnson. Just give people the tingle up the leg. That's it. Just give them that tingle. No substance. Just give them the tingle up the leg, and that's all you need. I'm Tavasu, and now we have to deal with FBA versus all other blacks. It really is. It's getting bad. Immigration is well, the immigration system is a big problem. That's for sure. Um. Okay. Thomas Sowell. My other fave black conservatives are Walter Williams, yeah, he died. Carl Rowan, Thomas Sowell, Carol Swain. I have seen Carol Swain. Beverly Beatty. Not familiar with Beverly Beatty. Okay. I'm not familiar with who that is. Shiva Ayadura. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Kim is batshit crazy, but is more logical than Candace. I also mess with King Randall, another great black conservative, Umar Johnson. Yeah, the news with Umar being hit with that cease and desist, not a good look, but neither is the amount of time he's been, not getting this done. Like it speaks to, at the very least, a lack of competency. You know what I'm saying? GOP needs to forget about Trump and move on. I do believe like someone like Ron DeSantis can be in the office and get things done. Passing actual policies matter. So Ron DeSantis is no doubt more competent than Trump. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily a good thing. See, the one thing I actually liked about Trump was that he was incompetent. Let me explain. I hate the government. So, if you have an incompetent president, that means there's less likelihood that that president will be able to accomplish facilitating the government further eroding and running over our rights and stuff. That's why it was great to have Trump, because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And it became a liability, though, under the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, then that's when some competency was actually needed, because then the government actually had a function it could serve to mitigate such a widespread disaster. But he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And, the state governors, they had their own agendas. So things went to hell really badly. Thing with Ron DeSantis is Ron DeSantis has displayed himself to be an authoritarian. So what he just did to Disney, that I don't like your policy, so I'm going to use the government against you. Okay, Javier, I get that you like Ron DeSantis, but imagine, and you're in some cases you don't have to imagine, because they both do it. But imagine Joe Biden using that same philosophy. Okay, we don't like what this company is doing, so we're going to change the law, or we're going to use the law to persecute this company, or to damage this company, to basically, we're going to use the government to force a company to do what we want it to do, or to support values we want it to support. And to be honest, Javier, I know that's what they want to do, what the Biden administration wants to do with social media. And if you're opposed to that, I get it. You should be. I am opposed to it, but I'm equally opposed to it when Ron DeSantis does it. So like, I don't want the government using its power. I don't want government to have the power to persecute companies or people because it doesn't like what they're doing. And so Ron DeSantis represents an enormous threat, but they all are threats, because it's just a matter of who at some point it's about, maybe you're looking at who's going to do the least damage, maybe. Malcolm X was ahead of his time. He was right about integration. Yeah, I mean, why do I? And even before he died, Martin Luther King hit it on the head. He says, "I fear." He had the realization. I fear I have integrated my people into a burning building. Yep. Now, DeSantis is a problem. Absolutely. But because he is most likely going to run in 2034, he will use every talking point that the right currently has. Yep. USA has 46 presidents in 230 years. In my opinion, Trump is the best of them for this time and space, geopolitically and socially. Just my view. Okay. Moderate Republicans are becoming a myth. like it, the polarization, it's ridiculous. and and it is interesting that the algorithm, that in order to please the algorithm, like you kind of have to be more extreme. Like you kind of got to be more extreme, especially when it comes to politics. Malcolm X was ahead of his time. Okay. My personal favorite, Dwight D. Eisenhower, last great president the U.S. has. Okay. For a second, I thought you said Hillary Clinton. I should have, and I'm stealing that. Hillary Clinton. Yep. Chunk drab the right. Chunk drab. Wow. Trunk. I haven't. I swear I haven't. I haven't started drinking yet. Trump dragged the right way left socially. I'm editing a video about this right now as I watch this. Yes, he did. We black nationalists are by nature conservative. Nation building and maintenance are conservative things. Um, Dwight was a goodie too. Yes, he welcome. Things have come about Hillary that wasn't known before, like her having classified equipment in her home. Trump admitted that he was a Democrat for most of his life, but not now. But a bunch of the stuff he's criticized her for, a bunch of the stuff that he's criticized Bill for, was stuff that we knew all along, and he had no problem with. Like I said, they were that those wedding pictures are just like just telling, and not just for Trump. Like and that every time I would hear anybody from either side, I'd like look, and it brings to mind George Carlin's words. It's a small club and you ain't in it. It's a small club and we ain't in it. I believe Dr. Umar School is located right behind Disneyland inside of La La Island. Oh, Doctor who are too busy making diss videos and repeating himself. Yeah. Descent. Somebody was going in on him. I forgot who was breaking down his video. I don't think it was somebody I particularly. Okay, no, in fact, yeah, Anton Daniels broke down the videos of his. Yeah, and he's like, "Why does he keep repeating himself?" But then I remember that skit that Tariq used to do. Descendant. Listen, Tariq is funny. I get it. I get it. Tariq is funny. Okay, so listen. I see a tweet. Sorry, I see a text, a comment. I'm gonna get to it in a second. Um, I see. Listen, yeah, I'm with King Randall 100%. And although he didn't come through this on the school, I like Umar's rhetoric of nation, family, and blackness. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to say he doesn't have his heart in the right place, but we like when it comes to leadership, competency and strategy matters. And that those are things we're going to have to take into consideration in. And it's not like and is anybody that's trying to be a leader, that's something they need to be able to take their ego, to put their ego in check and say, you know what, I'm not effective at getting XYZ done. I need to get out the way so that somebody else can do that. And I'll put my talents to work over here. Sonny Lucas Randall, no love for Maj. Listen, they said conservative. So Maj is Maj is that dude. Maj is that dude. Like yeah, I've got my Black Guns Matter shirt over there. Anytime Maj is in New York, I'm there. But he's a libertarian. So and like I remember when he first showed up at the Libertarian Party convention, I was like, yes, yes, because for he'd been leaning more towards the Republican Party, but I guess he saw all the authoritarianism, the anti-Second Amendment stuff, and he's like, okay, listen, I'm not rocking with that. And so it was such a great thing to have him um, come to the Libertarian Party, run as a Libertarian candidate. When he had quit, I was sick. Like I was at work, I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, you asked my dudes. I was like, "Man," I was pissed. And then I was like, he was like, "Okay, listen, I'm coming back, and I want to clean house." I was like, "Okay, good." Because yeah, I was pissed when he had announced he had left, but then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not leaving." I start Truck Boys. Welcome. Started a project and found out it was more than I can chew, so I had to stop it. Luckily, I used my own money, but I understand the climate's hard. Yeah, definitely. Look, from what I see, when people call him out about the school, he calls them haters or part of the. Listen, that's the point. Ego is a ego can destroy a movement as effectively as deceit. Ego can destroy a movement as effectively as deceit. I want to donate money to Randall right now. Yeah, dude is putting in his work. Absolutely. Yeah, Ron Paul is amazing. His son, not so much. I like Pat Buchanan, Ross Perot, Ron Paul. Sadly, neither of them became president. People rather have someone that screamed raw than a smart guy with solutions. Hold on now. I'm FBA. It's not about being against other blacks. It's about why is Roland Martin, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Joy Reid coming to America to diss FBAs. So Sheila Jackson Lee and Joy Reid, I think Roland Martin is multiple generation Black American. I think, um, but we talked about that. Like the establishment is looking for Black faces to push its agenda, and if it can't find them here, it'll look outside of the states. It'll look to the Caribbean. It'll look to Africa. Um, if they can't find them here, they'll look out elsewhere to find Black faces that will push the narrative that they want them to. Not too long ago, maybe like early last month, I was watching a stream of Dr. Umar where he was showing off his school. It looked almost finished. So yeah, he keeps talking about he needs HVAC and stuff like that. It's like, dude, like the amount of time it's taken has given people space to doubt his sincerity and given his detractors the ammunition to doubt the message. You know what I'm saying? Umar Johnson is based. I respect him because he is not afraid to be called racist or homophobic. Listen, he's a he's a very powerful speaker. I think we have to be realistic about what our strengths are and be able to realize, okay, I can do this. I'm not really that good at that, especially not for what we need. Like we've got to get certain things accomplished, and we've got to get them accomplished with significant speed and significant efficiency. So strategy has got to be we get the strongest people to do the things that they're strongest at, and then instead of one person trying to do instead of one person wanting to be the face of this that it's like, okay, no, calm down, let like handle what you can handle so that we can move everything forward, because it's not about me. It's something bigger than we have to be fighting for something bigger than ourselves, than the individual self. We have to be. If we're not doing that, um, we're actually doing ourselves a disservice. Yeah, DeSantis got rid of 2 black voting districts in order to punish Disney for using their freedom of speech. It's very troubling and set a precedent. Yep. So I have a question for everybody. Who, like, yeah, drop in the chat who you want to see run for 2024. Um, if it's DeSantis, if it's Trump, who do you like? What do y'all think about? So, like I said, Felicia Killings is pushing for Trump, Scott, Trump and Tim Scott ticket. What do y'all think about that ticket? My team versus your team mindset. Yep, Soccer Go. I like that about him. He gives off the vibe that he truly believes what he says. Yeah, I'm gonna get that together probably sometime next month. No lie, Prager ads constantly play on video, so I laugh when I hear about the right being silenced on social media. Spell check Miss Bevelyn Beatty. Okay, Bevelyn Beatty. Ah, I know who she is now. Yeah, she the BLM thing. Um, yes, I did hear of her. Okay, so who do we have? Trump. Trump. Okay, Trump. Well, they're going through the motions. Trump and Scott is way cool with me. Okay, okay. DeSantis, Rocket Man. You think Trump is done? Okay. Tack lad. I'll grit my teeth for Trump if Cube can get him back on board with the platinum plan. Okay. Jay, any conservative that's anti-immigrants and will not disrespect African Americans. Okay. I nominate Vincent Kennedy. Oh man. No Trump, no neocon boomers. I would vote for Ron DeSantis. If Trump runs again, then I'm not voting for him. Okay. Wow. Okay. I would like Tim Scott, but if DeSantis or Trump run, I would vote third party if they have good ideas. Yes, I'm curious to see who the Libertarians run. I saw a clip of Joe Jorgensen on Valuetainment. Wasn't good. Wasn't good. Listen, when Larry Sharp ran for vice president, I wasn't in Miami. I was back here in New York. I was watching it on C-SPAN. So I remember when he announced they go down to Florida and like not too long after he announced that think um Webb Bill Webb Gary Johnson and Bill Weld jumps in. And then I start looking up some things about Weld. So I saw what Bill Weld had, how he had flipped on the New York Libertarians back in the day. I was like, what? Wow, this is crazy. So Larry goes down there. So it's Larry Sharp running. Uh, I know Derek Grayson was one of the people. Will Coley. Will Coley was running. Uh, and so Alicia Dern was running. Was it Alicia Dern? I think it was Alicia Dern. And I remember after the first round of voting, it was there was no clear winner, so they had to do a second round, and then people started dropping out and giving Larry their support. It was like a movie because you started seeing people, like you started seeing the numbers change. The like it was like I'm there. It's like you see, if you ever watch like Rudy or some sports movie where they're coming from behind and like and you're just standing there rooting, and I'm at my house watching this on C-SPAN, and I'm like, yes, 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 and I'm seeing the numbers go up, and then yeah, I think it was Alicia Dern. She drops out and endorses Bill Weld, and he just falls. Ah, he just falls short, and I was like, ah, that would have been amazing. It would have been amazing. But I think it was at that moment that he saw what he could do. He saw what he could do with the limited time that he did, and he proved that he can make impact, that he can make a difference, because then he ran in New York, got us ballot access, and then they changed the law. They changed. But by the way, I'm just letting y'all know. Everybody on the stream, letting y'all know, Larry Sharpe is the reason why they changed the law. Larry Sharpe scared the shit out of the Democratic Party, so they changed the law. I mentioned anti-immigration because I'm in Houston and we have over 800,000 illegals and some work for the city. Joe Jorgensen is a lino. She's not a great communicator. Like watching her, like so Patrick. Oh fuck. Well, Patrick from Valuetainment asked her who has she debated against, and it's like painful to watch. It was painful to watch. It was painful. Ideally, I take a libertarian, but federally, I swear they're plants. Libertarian candidate should be for secure borders. The party needs to change their platform. A black agenda is needed. Definitely. Speaking truth to power, I believe that black people should have a conference in the South to steer the political agenda and have an open discussion about our politicians. Nice. To be honest, I didn't expect much from Biden, and I know how you feel about him. But to me, he was better than Trump. He was too chaotic, and it was evidence that he was clearly playing to the base. Listen, I get why Trump lost. 2020, the the global problem that kills his candidate. That kills his campaign. Um, I think without that, he would have won. But that's what did it. He was completely out of his depth. He isn't a serious person. He isn't. He likes he's a rich kid that likes the money and the attention, but not the work. He does not have a work ethic. Like he likes the gallivanting and the schmoozing. He doesn't put in the work. He doesn't have the. He's not serious about learning stuff. Yeah, he's a horrible leader. I back Larry in 2 seconds if he'd run. Him and Maj are my favorite political figures right now, and who I align closest with. Absolutely. Now, as president, it's like, okay, do something. Just do something. I'm mostly anti-immigration. A lot of tech companies import Chinese and Indian people with HB1 visas. Americans keep getting cucked by the system. Okay. But of course, Dems eat their own. They changed the law. Use so they waited. They used the lockdown. Like the lockdown happened, and then the first thing they did after they locked everything down was to change the law. And I'm like, wait a minute, how can you change this in the midst of like in the midst of a statewide lockdown. Like that's completely ridiculous. And I really said that should have been the grounds that they sued on. Um, that should have been their primary grounds. Joe Biden literally selling the country to cheap labor. People of color is helping Asians big time. I am pro immigration when it's done the right way. I have two brothers, both born outside the U.S. They came here and made things happen for themselves. Listen, the way the immigration system is run, it's in shambles. So they need to fix it. They need to, but nobody wants to because it's something they get to just keep running on. Um, Echo, I want to know if you read the article today about Biden might cancel $10,000 worth of student debt for some reason. They had squad member Presley on the cover. I saw a headline that said he's not going to do it. So I got to double check that. Yana Presley says the squad is getting the work done. I was just baffled. Yeah. So, I mean, they just say anything. Like AOC. So AOC made that tweet about a billionaire unilaterally running a social media company and having dinner with Peter Thiel and Tucker Carlson. And then after she writes that tweet, Elon tweets at her, "Stop hitting on me. I'm shy." And then she tweets back at him, "I was talking about Zuckerberg." Now, here's the thing. It turns out Zuckerberg, well, number one, Thiel is on the board of directors of Facebook. Zuckerberg also did apparently have a dinner um, with uh, with Tucker Carlson. But this is, I want to point out about who AOC is. The tweet where she wrote, I was actually talking about Zuckerberg, she deleted it. Let me tell you why she deleted it. She likes using these statements, these vague things, so that they can mean anything to anybody who's reading it. Because there's several problems, despite the fact that Zuckerberg did meet with Thiel because he's on his board, and he did meet with Tucker Carlson to claim that Facebook is some bastion of right wing. Like, I don't see it on Facebook. Number one. Number two, Zuckerberg does not unilaterally control Facebook. It's a public company and he has a board of directors. What the hell is she talking about? So she wanted to make it vague enough so that it could apply, so that people would think she was talking about Elon. But what she didn't count on, and she wanted to link it to hate crimes. But what she didn't count on was Elon actually responding right away and trolling her. So then she actually played her hand and played herself by coming out and saying, "Oh, it's not about you, it's about Zuckerberg." And it's like, wait, you just undermined what you were trying to do because you're trying to cast shade on Elon without actually. So you wanted people to think you were talking about Elon, but you were kind of referencing um, Zuckerberg, but the facts don't even apply to Zuckerberg either. So the fact the tweet doesn't actually apply to any one person because there's no billionaire that unilaterally controls the social media company and had dinner with Thiel and Tucker Carlson. Because by the way, the deal isn't finalized. The deal in principle is there, but Elon still does not own Twitter yet. So like it's ridiculous, but that's what she does. She likes to just leave things amorphous enough so that people can interpret their own thing and then just run with it. The system is not fair. Americans get into debt, but however, they bring foreign to replace and compete with you. So I say doing STEM is a joke now. Wow. Yeah. Much of the establishment does. No, no, he is a billionaire. But Elon is at 264 billion. Zuckerberg is at 75.2. A lot of people do not know how hard and costly. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, Zuckerberg is a billionaire. Joe Biden is the enemy of black people. Trump wanted to kill African and bring the troops back to the USA. Say what you want. Trump is who we need right now. Kill Africom. Okay. It's over for the whites. A lot of Hispanics in California and Texas dominate the trades. Most of us have tribalism mindset and hide our own. Immigration leads to wage cucking. Thoughts on Biden proposing 33 billion? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Um, it really is. It's absurd. Yeah, yeah. I see. The money should be spent here, not in other countries, especially with as much suffering as there is. Like we're not in a position to be able to be taking care of everybody else. I don't know if you follow Tariq Nasheed, but there's a guy on there who was running for the Senate in California with low funding. I was disappointed because Tariq should have had told him to run local. Okay. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the problem is, it's just there's so much there's so much nonsense around this where the policies aren't what aren't isn't what isn't what being focused on, and instead it's just instead of actually focus on policies, it's just playing this culture war nonsense, and then playing the culture war nonsense, and then taking just doing nothing for the people, just doing something for the special interests. Colorful foreign aid. I am thinking about doing that. So probably next month I'll get it started. Um, just finalizing exactly how I'm going to run everything. Yeah, let's talk about the aid that Israel gets from us. Yeah, it really is ridiculous. Um, when people get into politics, especially for black people who have no political wits, they want to run on the high levels instead of local levels. Yeah. And why conservatives don't have a problem with that, but then turn their nose up on reparation. Like, yeah, what can we say about that? Seriously, what can we say? But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and um, I'll be ending a stream in just a couple of minutes. Before I once I end the stream, I'm gonna put the links to put a link to the chaotic chaotic meaning chaotic. Put that in the community tab, and then I'm also going to put some links to like Sonny Johnson and Jeff Charles. I'm going to put that in the community tab as well, so y'all can check those out. So that'll be up like 5 minutes after the stream, because I just got to find some like pinpoint the positions. I'll put that up on the community tab so everyone can go follow. Check it out whenever you want to. But I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, checking out the stream, joining me for the stream. Uh, yeah, it was a fun stream, and we got to talk a lot. I really liked it, and like I said, yeah, I'm putting together some ideas so we can actually do the panel thing on here, and that would be really cool. That I think that'll be a great great look for the channel. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. I'll see y'all. I'll see you tomorrow.